So now I welcome you, my dear friends. Same thing earlier what we studied the last class. Just I will recall it. So steam is coming from the turbine, and it is entering into the condenser, and from that the condensate from the condenser, the condensate extracted by the condensate extracted pump, and then now we are going to sending that condensate to the feed water to the boiler. From this one end of this condenser, one end of this condenser, we are going to sending to that mm, sending to that hot water, and then that hot water again we are going to sending to that river. So from that river also we are means the feed pump is going to taking extracting that water to and send it to the water filter, and it any purities impurities like metals and all the things, other impurities, sand, dust particles will be removed with the help of water filter, and we are going to sending that cooling water to the condenser. This is that schematic diagram. So now we will see that another one more diagram. So how that closed cooling system will be there. We will see that. See here, see here, condenser, condenser will be there. In this condenser, uh, the steam is coming from the steam turbine, so that the steam turbine from that turbine, the steam is entering into the condenser. From how in that other ways, how that water is going and coming, we will see now. In this closed loop control system, this from that makeup water pump, we are going to extracting this pump over there here. Okay, pump over there, and then here we are going to sending this through water filter from water source. So this from this water source we are going to sending to that cooling water to that condenser. Again here is that steam, and this water is condensed, and then again it is going to be coming to that hot water, and this hot water is going to that cooling towers. So where we are going to discussing this cooling towers. So from this in this cooling towers, there will be sprays will be there, injectors will be there, ejectors will be there, sprayed, and it is going to be mixing with cooling water and air, so that it is going to be becoming as a cooling water. So after that, it is going to that joining with the cool water from the water resource. So here that hot water we are going to reducing that temperature. Here in this cooling tower, we are going to sending two ways to the air is in, and that this cooling the cool air is cooling that hot water. So that is one of the system of this closed cooling system. It's a very interesting one, and it is very high efficient. Another one, mixed cooling water system. We will see that in mixed cooling water system, what is going to be happening is in a mixed cooling water, here is that cooling water entering. Same thing, water filter will be there, pump will be there. From there will be a resource is there, water resource will be there. Here there is no water resource. There is no water resource. Okay, in this water resource, we are going to seeing from that river, we are going to means we are extracting a pump with the help of centrifugal pumps, and we are sending to the filter, and that cooling water is going on. So from this condenser, and then hot water is coming out. Okay, here in this condenser, we are directly again that condensate, we are going to feeding the water to that water boiler. Water boiler. So that is that one of the biggest advantage in this one. Biggest advantage. See that the cooling water will be there. And again that hot water from condenser, it is going to that cooling tower, means cooling water tower. So that air is going and it is cooled. That air is out. That cooled water we are going to sending to that water river. We are going to sending. So water is entering and it is going to the furnace and it is cooled. Again, it is going to coming out from the furnace. That is one thing. Another one more thing is from that water we are extracting that water. Again, we are going to sending. Okay, it is very near. The plant will be constructed very near. Either furnace we will send as well as ash handling equipment. Other areas also we will use this water. So that always a steam power plant will be erected, will be established by the side of rivers. Okay. Another one we will see that. What are the types of cooling towers and ponds will be there? Cooling towers will be there. Cool that warm water and discharge it from the condenser and feed the cooled water back to the condenser. Cooling towers cools the warm water discharged from the condenser and feed the cooled water back to the condenser. What are the types will be there? So what are the types of cooling towers? Natural draught cooling towers, mechanical cooling towers, forced draught cooling towers. Okay, forced draught cooling towers. And we'll see one by one. What is that natural draught cooling towers? See here, you see that hot air is out, water sprays will be there in this cooling tower. Okay, hot water from condenser. Okay, eliminators will be there, means water trace will be there, and this construction is reinforced concrete will be there. So that much of heat is going to be generated. That much of heat is going to be generated. So in that we are having hurdles will be there. Means that is the trace will be there. See over there two times we are going to cooling that air. Means with the help of sprays. And another one is we are third process is we are going to cooling that water with the help of air. See clearly it is mentioning how that air is entering. So from this pond will be there in the downside of the cooling tower from the top, and then the water enters into that pond is located inside of that cooling pond. So that water is enters, and then here here that air is touched with that cooling water, and it is air is also cooled, and it is going to be again that hot water it is time. So over there again here we are having cooled air. So this is the diagonal columns will be there like this. This is made up by reinforced concrete shell. Entire that shell is made up of by reinforced concrete shell. So now we will see that natural draught cooling tower. See that natural draught cooling tower. How that cooling tower will be, see that how it is, we are going to constructed naturally draught cooling towers. In these towers, large power plants we are going to using this power plant. See that here, that diagonal sketches. Okay. So what are the advantages and the disadvantages of natural draught cooling towers? Is it is operating and maintenance costs are very less. And since no fans are needed, since no fans are needed, so it creates its own draft, assuring efficient operation even when there is no wind. Even when there is no wind, it increases its own draft, assuring efficient operation as well as even when there is no wind. That is the thing. Another one thing is it is operating and maintenance costs are less since no fans are needed. So maintenance cost less. There is no working fans. Not required for working fans. So not required for that one. So that is a very longer life will be there. It is constructed concrete session, and wherever advantages will be there, automatically there will be a disadvantages will be there. What are that disadvantages? We will see that one. Disadvantages. In that disadvantages, high capital cost. So we have to construct with that reinforced concrete shell. That's a very high cost will be there. And the performance varies with the and performance varies with seasonal changes. Seasonal changes. So that is one of the good thing. So these are the two disadvantages will be there. Another forced draught cooling towers, natural draught cooling tower and forced draught cooling tower. So in that forced draught cooling tower, hot air is coming out, hot water is entering inside. Over there, jets will be there, sprays will be there, nozzles will be there. With that, spray eliminators will be there, whatever it may be that. The spray eliminators will eliminate that hot air, will eliminate that hot air, hot air, and cool water will be there. Here the downside will be there. If that air is entering and that it is going to be touching that cool water, and then it is means it is and whatever that hot air is going out, cool water we are going to send into the condenser. Here there will be a big fan we are going to using. Air in fan, uh, air is entering with the help of fan, and then some of the packings will be we are going to arrange, and we are going to sending out that hot air out. We are going to using eliminators to eliminate that hot air, to eliminate that temperature, to eliminate that heat. So that is hot water from condenser, it is coming, and it is distilled, means it is going to be coming, and it is finally that cool water we are going to send in. This type of condenser we are going to calling as forced draught cooling towers. So we are going to forcingly we are sending that water. That's why we will see that how that forced draught cooling tower will be there. Comparatively that and this cooling tower is different. See and observe this forced draught cooling tower. So now we will discuss what are these advantages and disadvantages of cooling towers, forced draught cooling towers. So what are their advantages? It is very most efficient compared to natural and other thing, other cooling towers. More efficient, and it is used in large power thermal power stations. Problems are some erosion are to be avoided, blade erosion. Okay, we can avoid it. Fan is general. We are going to using fan located at ground, so more safe. So we are not using upper side of the cooling tower. We are going to using downer side of the cooling tower, so that it is there is no problem for, and it is safety purpose, and it is safety purpose. Another one is that vibrations and noise are less. Mechanical equipments are set on the solid foundation. Vibration and the noise are very, very less. If the vibration will be there, entire plant will be disturbed. And there is no, whenever generating the power, there is no cooling water entering, cooling water outing. There is no that much of noise will not be there. So there's less mechanical equipments and set on a solid foundation. So concrete foundation will be there. That thing we are going to. So what are the disadvantages of forced drought? Forced drought disadvantages are, we can say that forced drought disadvantages: possibility of recirculation of hot, humid exhaust air coming out from the top of the tower. So we are arranged that eliminators, no? From that eliminators, this recirculation of hot, humid exhaust air is coming out from that tower at the top level. So it is one of the disadvantages. And the fan size is limited 4 meters, and we cannot use that fan blade size is 4 meters. We cannot use more than this. It's one of the biggest disadvantages. Another one is a possibility of ice formation on fan blades. So whenever cooling towers, condensation, steam, and all the things, even though it is rotating, the ice is going to be formed, and corrosion effect will be there. So that thing we have to take care of that in cold weather conditions. In cold weather conditions. Another we will see that induced drought cooling towers. So you see that, observe it. Spray eliminators are there. Hot water from condenser will be there. Packings are there. Same as it is forced drought system. But only one thing here is mm, we can say that the cool water we are going to send into that. Only one thing, ID fan and OD fan, FD fan. FD fan is arranged in the right side of the tower, cooling tower, and the ID fan is going to be arranged at the top edge. Okay, that is the only that. But the limitation of the fan size is 4 meters. That we cannot change. Same as that. Here, right, downside we are going to using. Over there, we are going to eliminating that hot air. Here, we are cooling that air. Over there, we are eliminating that fan. Means that hot air. Induced drought cooling tower. You please observe how it will be there. Here, fans will be there, and drift will be there here. Drift. And eliminators, means eliminators, that is drift eliminators, and water distribution points, means spraying jets, nozzles, sprinkles will be there, and surface will be there, extracting surface. So air is entering two directions. So this is by seeing only we can observe that it is induced draft cooling tower, cooling tower. So you can observe here hot air, how that from AD fan is attracting hot water from the condenser, hot water from the condenser. Two sides it is entering. Water sprays, sprinkles is there. Air is entering both the side. Baffle plates we arranged both sides, baffle plates. And the air packings also will be there. Both air is entering and it is going to be cooled down. Over there, one side only we are allowing very small holes, small vent holes only we are arranging. Here completely we are open. So that is that the cooling pond will be there downside. So what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? We will see that. cold water comes in contact with that advantages induced by that cooling tower. So here that advantages will be there. Coldest water comes in contact with the driest air, and the warmest water comes in contact with the moist air. The recirculation of hot humid air is not a major problem. That is one of the things. The recirculation of humid air is not a major problem, and a larger fan size can be used, and lower first cost due to reduced pump capacity, capable of cooling through a wide range. Okay, all these things. This recirculation of hot humid air is that one of the good advantage. Larger fan size can be used in this. Over there, 4 meters limitation. Here there is no limitation for that. So capable of cooling through that wide range. We can use that wide range. Okay. Another disadvantages will be there. What are the disadvantages? Whenever advantages will be there, automatically disadvantages will be there. There is not economical up to the capacity of 15,000 liters. It's not economical 15,000 liters. More than this will be there. Higher power motors is required to drive the furnace automatically. That there is no limitation of fan size, automatically there will be a higher side, higher power motors is required to operate that fan, to run that fan. Maintenance cost is very high compared to the forced draught cooling tower. Maintenance cost is more. Fan bearings need to be cooled always. Why? Because it is running very fast. RPM, hundreds of RPM it is going to be run. So cooling is required for that bearings. Even though your cooling system is there, even though additional cooling is there, these are the disadvantages for this system. So terms with cooling tower, fill will be there, drift will be there. What is the fill? The hot water from that condenser is sprayed through that nozzles over the series of horizontal bars is called fill or packing. So the hot water from the condenser is sprayed to the nozzles. So the hotter water is going to be sprayed with the help of nozzles. So horizontal bars will be there. That bars is we are going to calling as fills or packing. We have seen the packing, so many packings, different sizes. We saw that, and the drift will be there. When the air flows from the bottom to top of the cooling tower, then the air flows from bottom to the drift. What is the drift? We are going to defining that one. When the air flows from the bottom to top of the cooling tower, it carries fine water droplets along with that air. These fine droplets is called as drift. So when the air is going to be flowing from bottom to top, so the cooling tower, it carries some droplets. So from bottom, so that droplets is called as a drift. So the fine droplets is called as drift. So air is flowing from bottom to top. So it carries some water droplets. That water droplets along with the air, that water droplets we are going to saying as drift. We can say that the water and the air is mixing and it is going to be then that droplet we are going to calling as drift. Okay, yeah, actually the air is going to be carrying that water, so that is called as a drift. Sorry. So just these two terms we will discuss, and approach. What is approach? It is defined as the difference between the exit temperature of the cooling water and wet bulb temperature of the ambient temperature. Wet bulb temperature, it is the difference of exit temperature of the cooling water and wet bulb temperature. Wet bulb temperature means there will be a moisture content available in that wet bulb temperature. So cooling range, what is that cooling range? It is the difference of the temperature incoming of uh, warm water and the exit temperature of the cool water. That is called as a cooling range. Okay, that approach A is equal to Tc2 minus Twd, temperature of wet bulb temperature and the temperature of the exit temperature of the cooling water. So with this, I'm going to close today's session. We will meet next session. Thank you.